Hiya folks, it's Kikoskia here, and welcome back to Let's Replay Icewind Dale the Enhanced Edition. And when last we left off, we've got one of the badges. The badges are the thing that we're going to be hunting for in this chapter, and getting all the badges and using them is the point of no return for going to the expansion. So once we have all the badges, we're probably going to dump them in the bag of holding, and then go and do that expansion material. Something I have never really done before, so it'll be interesting to see. Right, we're going to use heal. I know that we could use a lesser spell, but heal just deals with the lost hit points in one go. So we'll just do it. And transform back as we explore this area carefully. Now there's probably going to be an Etin or two about, so let's explore. Okay, no Etin here. What about down here? This place looks like somewhere that an Etin would be. Or... Ooh, or... Oh.
What? Done.
Or... An axe. Calabac's Journal. Well, looks like we have some reading to do, but first... That is not a battle axe +1. It has the sprite for a +1, but it's actually +3, fatigue. Besides its superb craftsmanship, tiny runes of power can be seen etched all along the surface. It's obvious a lot of time and effort went into its creation, and although not apparent at first, a slight blue glow can be seen emanating from the runes. +3 weapon, 20% chance the target is slowed for 2 rounds. That's not bad. Oh, we're not going to use it, but it's not bad. As for the journal, I'm afraid I may have been duped. Bandoth indicated where I might find the door to the forge, but I was unable to find any trace of it. I was prepared to search later on this evening, but a group of Etins have encamped in the passage north of where I am now, and I'm in no condition to be running past them. Fortunately, I will get another opportunity to search the old meeting hall of the Dwarves. Earlier, I uncovered some writings regarding a room within these walls that leads to the lower segments of this complex, and I can only assume that this room lies behind the door. I have yet to find. To make matters worse, the same writings inferred that this room contained a puzzle that was designed to keep the invaders from discovering and desecrating the cemetery and forge. Perhaps Bandoth can provide some more assistance. Well, we've already solved that puzzle. You can hold on to that for now. But it's still good to know that there's a little thing here that tells you how to do it. This person was likely killed by the Etins. Now, if we keep going this way, is there a way forward? The answer is no. No, there isn't. Okay, so we have actually cleared out this area. Let's see if we can have another conversation with the transformed wizard. And if not, we will carry on. I think the only way we can really go now is through the room full of cogs to the lower areas of Dorn's Deep. Now, I don't know if charisma's going to have an impact here,
I shall lead the
but
way.
let's have a conversation with a charismatic person. Greetings again, traveller. I've disposed of the Orog chieftain and acquired his badge. I am forever in debt to you. I cannot speak much longer. I must tell you that each of the 6 have such a badge. Should you go in search of him, you will need to obtain each of them. I must rest. Goodbye, Sablik. And off they go. We'll never see them again. We got a decent amount of XP from that. We are nowhere near level 10, though, here. Getting close to level 12, however. And nowhere near the experience there, or there. Moderately close there. So we are going to be getting a level relatively soon, but not for our fighter. This is not terrible. Our fighter is already pretty strong. So this leads us to here, and those crossbows that I really don't care about, and the only way we can now go is through the secret door.
Not a problem.
The secret door will lead us to the area with the cogs after we go through the completed puzzle room, and then new locations. And here are a bunch of swords we don't care about. ETA, by the way, until our bag of holding is completely full of stuff. It will happen. It'll happen. Okay, here we are. Down we go. We're also looking out for Larrel's daughter. Whether we'll find her or not is another question. My money's on yes. Okay, so here we are in this room. We're gonna save because if we don't and we die, I'll be sad. We are in an area that looks like a central hub. There's a door there. There's this. This beautiful monument appears to represent dwarven craftsmanship in the art of metallurgy. It also seems to have one time been something functional. You suddenly feel very, very cold. That's usually a sign of ghosts. That is normally a sign of ghosts. But I can't see one. There's a door I can't go through. Nothing here.
I'm here.
No traps that I can see. No traps at all. Go up here. Defiler! Have you come to desecrate the remains of our home? Absolutely not. Then why do you disturb the temple of Moradin? I was hoping to learn more about the conflict that occurred within this area. 2 catastrophes occurred within Dorn's Deep. The first was the destruction of our community at the hands of the orcs. More recently, there has been the occupation of our cemetery, the Tears of the Dead, by the necromancer Terrikan. Tell me about the destruction of your community. Throughout the history of Dorns, we've always had to contend with the orc hordes that threatened our way of life. However, thanks to our inspired diplomacy between the leaders of our community and the elves of the Severed Hand, we forged an alliance that kept both our homes safe from harm. What happened? Corruption from within led to a falling out between our peoples. No longer organized into an effective, cohesive whole, it was only a matter of time before the orcs overran both settlements. What was the cause of the corruption? I am not certain, but it was apparent, at least from our perspective, that someone was deliberately attempting to seed mistrust between the dwarven and elven communities. When the orcs began appearing far better equipped than in times previous, the elves began to suspect that dwarven smithies were in league with the horde. Why would they think you'd supply your enemies with weapons? The elves felt we could not control our appetite for gold, so we were accused of providing the orcs with superior armament. Later, the elves took their accusations a step further and accused us of arming the orcs with the intention of having them destroy the Severed Hand. From the sounds of it, that is the last thing they wanted to have happen. Who was providing the orcs with these arms? Not any dwarf within Dorn's Deep, I can tell you that much. We were warriors, not betrayers. If truth be told, I believe both communities were deceived by someone within one of our own families. I know not who, but I hope that when that person meets their end, they feel the pain of every dwarf and elf that lost their lives. I have some questions I wish to ask you. Who are you? I am known as Norlinor. While alive, I served as a priest of Moradin for our church here within Dorn's Deep. Specifically, I was given the title Artisan of the Forge, and it was my duty to maintain this place. I died defending this temple. I did not anticipate revisiting it in the afterlife. Why are you here now? The presence of Terrikan, the necromancer who has taken up residence in the Tears of the Dead, has quenched the flames that gave the forge life. With the forge cold, the spirits of the dead have become restless, forced from their tombs into servitude for that monster. Almost all the dead of Dorn's Deep are now enslaved to Terrikan. I fear I am the only one that remains free. Well, what can be done? Terrikan's transformation into a lich, has caused enough negative energy to be drawn to the area that even our forges and machines have been affected. Perhaps destroying Terrikan could bring the forge to life again. One thing is for certain. As long as the forge remains cold, the spirits of Dorn's Deep are denied our final rest. Oh boy, it's a lich. We love facing liches. This is a lie, by the way. We don't. I'll see what I can do for you. Let me ask other questions first. What would you like to know? I'd like to know about Terrakin. Terrakin is a wretched necromancer that came to Dorn shortly after the strife that put an end to our community. He was aware of the tragedy that gripped Dorn's Deep and knew it would serve as fertile ground to continue his research. Well, what was he researching? During the construction of the Deep, we had the misfortune of uncovering a cavern that housed an ancient vortice from the negative energy plane. Now, I don't know if some being from that plane felt our presence, or if the vortice itself was disturbed by the intrusion, but shortly thereafter, undead began to appear. And these undead invaded Dorn's Deep? At first it was merely a skeleton or two, nothing we couldn't handle, but over time we received more and more reports of undead sightings. In the end, I don't think any of us were prepared for what would become known as the Battle of the Dead. When did the battle begin? One morning, our community awoke to the screams of the son of Jamoth. He'd been playing with within some of the caves near the forge and claimed to have seen a small group of skeletons. We sent a few men down to investigate. They returned, badly wounded. What had they found? Hundreds of skeletons, zombies, ghouls, and other undead had suddenly appeared in the vortice cave, preparing to attack the settlement. With time working against us, we assembled our remaining soldiers and went forth to vanquish the deceased. But hundreds of undead with even greater numbers to follow. The dwarves would have been greatly outnumbered. No Dorn's dwarf would concede defeat while our community was threatened. Our wounded began to accumulate, and many of our brethren joined their attackers in spiritual unrest that day. Just as it appeared that we might have to retreat, a miracle occurred. A miracle? From within the tides of flesh and bone emerged Jamoth, hacking at the dead around him with a fevered glee, bellowing with laughter. With each swing of his weapon, the undead around him disintegrated, regardless of whether he struck them or not. It was a beautiful sight to see, my friend. So the undead fell around him just by his presence. How is that possible? Jamoth and our community were touched by Moradin that day. We later discovered the vortice that had brought forth the undead was somehow reversed, returning the spirits to their home within the plane of negative energy. Then Terrakin came along. As a necromancer, he must have heard about the vortice, correct? Yes. Once our community no longer inhabited these chambers, Terrakin took up residence in the Hall of Heroes with a determination to restore the vortice. He is convinced that if he unlocks the secrets, he'll be able to manipulate the other vortices throughout Faerun. How? It seems the energies of this vortice would kill any man that approached it. Terrakin knew no mortal man could ever master the vortice. Shortly after his arrival in our home, he began preparing himself for the rituals necessary to become a lich. Fortunately, Terrakin must have neglected some of the proper enchantments, as the powers he wields are inferior to much of his kind. That is good to know. If so, can we stop him? If so, can you stop him? Terrakin is much more powerful than I. I am fortunate I continue to inhabit these chambers with my own mind. Once Terrakin learns of any dead within these halls, he seeks to destroy their will with his necromantic arts. Anything that lives, he slays. I could destroy Terrakin for you. That would not be an easy task. You cannot destroy Terrakin by striking him down. It is his life force that sustains him, not his shell. Life force? Liches store their life forces within specially constructed phylacteries. Most liches go to great lengths to protect their phylacteries, often placing them in remote locations where no one can find them, then safeguarding them with enchantments. Terrakin, however, believes his phylactery is safe as close to him, and he has placed it within a crypt in the Hall of Heroes. So all we have to do is reach there and destroy it. The phylactery is not something that can be destroyed by common means. To destroy it, you'll need to remove it from this plane. A daunting task, to be certain. No less daunting than the other impossibilities we've been forced to endure in coming north. How can we remove this phylactery from this plane? That is where fortune favors us. The very vortice that Terrakin is studying can destroy him as well. It lies within the Hall of Heroes, inside the tomb of Jamoth. Any undead being, regardless of power, is pulled back to that dreadful plane of existence upon entry into the tomb. That is why I have never been able to enter the tomb myself. So I would need to take the phylactery inside Jamoth's tomb to destroy Terrakin? That doesn't sound too difficult. But to reach the Hall of Heroes, you need to pass through the Tears of the Dead, where Terrakin resides. Not only that, but the great door to the Hall of Heroes is locked, and I'm certain Terrakin possesses the key. If you defeat Terrakin's physical form, make haste for the Hall of Heroes, for he will only be subdued for a short while. I'll see what I can do. Let me ask you another question. Certainly. What would you like to know? I'm in need of aid. Hey, you can cast spells! That's neat, but we're not actually in need of aid. But we do have somebody that can help us out. Now, this goes to the Tears of the Dead, this goes to the Tears of the Dead, and this goes to the Tears of the Dead. Right, so, fairly linear progression here. Tears of the Dead, Tears of the Dead, Tears of the Dead. All of this is not good. However, undead is something we have dealt with before. So, let's pick away and go in and see what happens. Hi! That's a lot of undead.
Yes.
Ghouls and gribblies, oh me, oh my, are all here.
Ready.
And they're going to make us die. Or they're not.
You have
They shouldn't be that difficult. Especially with a fireball or two to help us out. Like so. Haha! Yep, that's helped us a lot. Yeah, these are not particularly difficult undead. These are very much fodder enemies. Very much fodder. We can just kill them. Couple hits, and they're starting to run. Right, if they're running, take them out with bows.
Split you in two.
Ah, weapon ineffective. Ah, that's a problem. Maybe if I use magic arrows. There we go. I don't know who's casting any magic. Oh, there's just a lich, like, doing stuff. What is the lich? I don't know what the lich is doing, but the lich is doing things.
I'm here.
The lich is doing things. You are... You're animating dead. That's what you're doing.
Easy as goblin pie.
Stop animating dead.
Aye.
Also, just kill. Oh! Hello, traps. Hello, traps. How you doing?
Ready.
Don't chase.
no problem.
Disable this. Disable that. And wait for you to very slowly move closer. There we go. I think we may have dealt with the majority of the undead here. Can we actually save? We can actually save in here. That's good. Right, let's actually be ready with some of our better arrows. I feel like this is a better arrows situation. Let's use the +2 arrows.
Aye.
Now, we can open all of these. And some of them are trapped.
I gotcha.
In fact, a lot of these are trapped. Are they locked? No, they're not. Right, we have here... Ooh, magical thingamies. We like magical thingamies. That is not a magical thingamy. That's a magical thingamy. That's not a magical thingamy. That's a magical thingamy. And those are magical thingamies. Okay, what are they? A small shield +1. Eh. A reinforced large shield +2. Eh. A large shield, okay. A large shield +1/+4 versus missiles. That is one you can get in Baldur's Gate 1. Decent weapon. Well, decent shield, rather. I mean, it can be used as a weapon in later editions of D&D. Not this one, though. These are bolts. That is a dagger you can't identify. A mage dagger +3. Ooh! This is good. Can cast 1 extra first, second, and third level wizard spell. Huh. That's pretty nice. Can't be used by a cleric mage or a fighter mage cleric. I mean, you can use it, though. I'm just going to have you use that. Because then that just gives you, you know, a little extra spell casting. Not gonna say no to that. Also, we have these bits of ammo. We have bolts of lightning and inferno darts. 20% chance of dealing plus 2d6 fire damage. I mean, that's not terrible. Not gonna say no to that. And so, when we come back, folks, we have a lich to take out. I mean, they're not a especially powerful lich, apparently, but they're still a lich. And I'm not a fan of dealing with liches, but we'll do the best we can. And by the best we can,
Yes.
I mean we are going to
I'm
basically
pretty
rush
much.
them, fire lots of arrows at their face, and hope that that works. Failing that, we've got some dispel magics, and we've got other spells that can maybe work. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm not looking forward to this at all, but we have to face Terrakan, and then rush over to the Hall of Heroes, whereupon we can then find the Tomb of Jarmuth and deal with this foe once and for all. Who wants to bet we're going to have to fight them a couple of times before this is done, though? I'm going to say yes. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later. You keep
What is
turning
your
undead,
will?
Core. You keep turning undead with your ridiculous armor class. I'm envious of your ridiculous armor class. I really am. I wish Magnus had it. But what can you do?